So we thought we'd come to the Battle of Bosworth, and we seem to have stumbled across a reenactment. We're about to watch some cannon fire.
Have a care!
Have a care! Have a care! Now that was exactly the same amount of powder as before, so you can see what difference compression makes. Now if you think about it from a medieval point of view, the loudest thing you would have heard in the medieval world is thunder or church bells. Now this gun actually predates Agincourt. This is from 1399. We have a specific date for this because underneath the wall of Castle Tannenberg, when one of the towers collapsed, it buried the gun and the gun was found loaded. Now in the logs for the castle, it was recorded down in the books of when the West Tower collapsed, so we know it was in use at that specific date. When you're ready? But even though it's a small piece, it's relatively loud. It rings like a bell. And this is an all-iron gun made by a blacksmith. There's an awful lot more blacksmiths than there are bell foundries. Now this gun is depicted being fired by a mounted knight on horseback with a special hook on the front of his saddle so he could fire it between the horse's ears.
Is that the same volume of powder again?
No, that's actually quite a small charge. How much powder was in that, Bob?
Sorry?
How much powder was in that?
16 grams.
16 grams.
I'm not sure if that wasn't louder. Is that more powerful due to...
It's about compression, it's the containment. So, and how well you would it. I probably could have made that louder, but I like to build up the sound rather than suddenly go for, there you go, everybody's just run away. Now, so this is the pinnacle of technology for about 1480. So about the period of Bosworth, this is now looking a lot more like a gun. So this is lock, stock and barrel. So we have a lock, a mechanism for firing the gun, we have a barrel and we have a stock. I can now shoulder the gun and aim. It has a really early version of a trigger mechanism. So it has one of the first triggers. This is for the match. It has a pan cover. So I can put a priming charge in the pan, close it over, run across the battlefield, fire my gun and run back again. And it means I can keep it loaded and I don't have to worry about balancing small amounts of powder. The tools for the gun, the ramrod is now attached to the gun, so I don't have to worry about losing my stick. I load my wad in and I put in my bullet. And you see, I'm ramming it home with my scouring stick and I make sure that all the powder and the ball is seated at the base of the barrel. I open my flash pan, small amount of primer, for safety close that, and then I load my gun, or arm my gun, put the match in, make sure it's hot. Have a care. So we're going to move on to cannon. So these are the small artillery pieces of the medieval era. Now this gun on the end is a new piece of technology. If you notice, they're not actually sticking anything in the barrel. Now this is a breech loader.
Have a care!
Big red. Have a care!
Have a care!
Now you can see the difference a breech loader makes. I wouldn't have even have started to load my second shot, and already he's going to get his preloaded cartridge to put in the back of the gun. Have a care! Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed that display.
The Bayard Medieval Reenactment Group, and you can follow them on Facebook, X, formerly known as Twitter, and Instagram. We're not affiliated or sponsored by them, but we thought we'd just share that information.
Yeah, they were a nice little group. Very friendly, very helpful, very knowledgeable.
We like these medieval battlefield reenactments, don't we?
We seem to, yeah.
So we're now at the site of the Battle of Bosworth, and it's where Richard III was killed in battle, the last English monarch to die in battle, and yeah, the crown was taken by
The first of the Tudors.
Henry VII, Henry Tudor. Now, Henry Tudor, his father was Edmund Tudor, and Edmund Tudor was half-brother to the King Henry VI. His mother was Margaret Beaufort. Oh, shouldn't be this much out of breath. Is it because we've just eaten?
I don't know.
Must be. Yeah, so this is where Richard III was killed in battle on the 22nd of August 1485. What's this then?
I think it was the place where Richard III, where his encampment was the night before the battle, on this hill. And is it called Albion Hill?
Albion Hill. I'm sat on the throne of Henry Tudor.
And I'm sat on the throne of Richard III. Well, south is that way, west is that way, so it's somewhere
Down that way.
in this area here.
Yeah.
Yeah, should we take a walk down?
Wanna have a look?
Yeah.
Let's go have a look. Come on then.
Richard got a pretty bad press, didn't he, really? I mean, it's always the case that the winners write the story of the battle, and so he was portrayed in the Shakespearean play Richard III as a hunchback. Here is my winter of discontent. And, oh, do you like that?
Loved it.
Here is my winter of discontent.
Amazing.
He was associated with the killing of the princes in the Tower, but that's unproven. And you have a theory that Margaret Beaufort,
It's a thought that Margaret Beaufort, the mother of Henry VII, may have had something to do with it. That's my opinion. It's not obviously a proven opinion. It was an appointed protector
of the princes.
The then king, which was, well, after Edward IV had died, his son Edward V. Oh, let's just have a quick look at this and we'll get back to that.
This cairn was erected in early 19th century to mark the well at which King Richard III was said to have refreshed himself while fighting at the Battle of Bosworth. Though some of his men encamped near here, the battle took place over a mile to the southwest, where King Richard fell gallantly defending his realm and his crown against the invading army of Henry Tudor. He was 32 years old.
Obviously they must have built them things over afterwards.
This is a cairn that's been built to commemorate this point. It wasn't like this back then. This was built in the 19th century. Was he a good king or was he a bad king? It's very hard to tell because he only was on the throne for 2 years, really. But things he did introduce was the jury system and some form of early legal aid, and apparently weights and measures for commerce to be fairer and also not to rip off the public. So you know, he did introduce. He was regarded as a reforming king, apparently, in that short time. But as I say, history is written by the victors, not the losers. Right, should we take a walk down to where we were told part of the battle took place?
Yep, come on then, let's go. Beautiful day though.
It is lovely, isn't it?
And I'm still in a jumper. Forgot to bring a t-shirt.
I think you told us that.
Yeah, but do you know what I'm going to have to do? You know, when we're doing these weekends away, we're going to have a little stash, aren't we?
Well, we're going to.
I'm going to have a stash of...
Well, we're going to actually have a packing cube like we do for
Yeah.
longer trips, but have a packing cube of extra spare bits and pieces.
I'm going to have a stash of a t-shirt, thin leggings, and them walking sandals. And then in summer, you need to have a little stash of something just in case it gets a bit colder. But yeah, it's like I'm stuck with a jumper and leggings. With
Furry leggings.
Fleece-lined leggings. And it's what, 20-something degrees?
Yeah, it's warm. It's good. It's a nice warm day today.
You can just see, I believe you can just see the field where the actual battle took place, but I don't think the public are allowed access.
No.
I think it's a farm. Is it Farmer's Field?
Farmer's Field, yeah.
But yeah, I think, is it the one where it's got a massive flag in centre or something like that? I don't think you can actually see it for trees, can you? We're here, right? The Ashby Canal, is that where
the tree line is?
tree line is? Oh, it's quite a way off, isn't it? Up there. So,
Give a scale.
if you think about it, if you end up on that road there, and then we end up driving down there, Fens Lane, you can go past Field, can't you?
It's about 3 times the distance of the distance that we've walked from the visitor centre to where we are now. So it's about 3 times the distance along Fen Lane. And Fen obviously is another word for wetlands. So
Is it?
yeah, Fen. Yeah,
Didn't know that.
the Fen's in East Anglia or wherever it is.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, Fenland is marsh, bogland, and so calling it Fen Lane is significant because they mentioned having to skirt round the fen, didn't they? It thought he was a significant distance away from the actual visitor centre where his encampment was, which is understandable. You sally forth, don't you? So yeah, so we could go back
And
along
they
Fen's Lane and
believed,
see if we can.
well, not they believed, that they actually did, didn't they? They found all these cannons and stuff.
They found
didn't
musket. Oh, here we are.
Yeah.
Cannonball scatter,
Yeah.
which is significant, isn't it?
Didn't they find a boa pin or something?
Some
Pin
sort
of a boa, which is like
yeah,
a symbol
an emblem of.
Richard III.
I believe so.
You can't really see the field, but hopefully we'll drive past it. Look, I can't be bothered turning the camera around, but I thought I'd show you these nice forget-me-nots. They're the only flowers that I know how to grow, because they grow like weeds. And some weeds are nice. I actually think some weeds are nice. I know how to grow weeds. Not very good at growing flowers. I'm boiling.
I bet you are.
Absolutely boiling.
Take your jumper off.
There he is,
The Bluebell King.
the king of the bluebells.
The bluebells.
Sat amongst the bluebells. They're nice, aren't they? What do you think?
Yeah.
Look at them. Well, they did have a proper burial, proper funeral for him, didn't they, at the Leicester Cathedral?
Oh, that's over 500 years later, yes.
Yeah,
He's
of course.
been buried with full honours, or whatever the term is. It's the right royal send-off. But also it's over 500 years later.
Yes. But the injuries that he suffered were quite severe, weren't they? I mean,
Yeah.
they believe that he had like a puncture in top of his head, a big blow to the back of his head, which his brains came out, which was the killing blow. What else? Yeah, it's believed that, didn't they, when he was thrown over the back of the horse naked, didn't somebody, passerby, just shove a dagger up his you know, back passage, which is
Well, that's like disrespect, wasn't it, I guess?
disrespect. It is warm in this jumper. I did try to find a t-shirt in Market Bosworth yesterday, didn't I?
You did.
Unsuccessful. Well,
You found one.
I found one, but you had to remortgage your house for it.
There she is, she's having a look in the shop.
30 quid for a plain t-shirt. Now,
Wow.
we're almost back at the visitor centre, and last time we were here, you know what you did?
I remember buying a red rose and a white rose.
You can't eat that. You bought me an ice cream.
Oh no, not today.
Come on.
No.
Yes, you owe me one. Come on. Anyway, not much to see, but it's a nice walk. I'll tell you what. Before we were doing this, what we were doing before, just sat in house doing note.
Well, it gets us out, doesn't it?
Gets you out. That's where you belong. Right, see ya. Bye.